Go see Grandma today. He gets to go on a nice long ride to go visit Grandma. So we had some business to do in the Syracuse area, so we thought we'd pop in, catch my breath here, pop in to see my mom, and Branch wanted to come along. Well, we're only going to be every place.
He always wants to come along.
He always does. So most of the time when we do errands like this, we're only in these spots for like 5-10 minutes. So that's a good time to bring the dog. So he gets to come. Some places you can bring the dog into, like Tractor Supply, but
Dollar General
in our area, everybody brings
Bob's
their dogs.
Big M's got a big notice, no pets allowed.
Yeah, I don't really like dogs where food is at all, but I don't think they're supposed to, but they do around here.
Well, it says other than service dogs, but everybody and their brother's got tags for service dogs that don't need.
Well, they're not
dogs.
Tags. They just bring their dogs in, and the stores don't want to say anything.
They call them service dogs.
Right, and the stores don't want to say anything to
That's
them.
why there should be. You should have to have be a card carrier for a service dog.
Well, my issue with the dog thing was I thought it would be fun to see if I could make my dog a service dog, just because everybody else was doing it. And then I did some research on it, and I found out that, let's see, a service dog has to be pretty much be on the ground. Not always. Sometimes diabetics have them for sugar and stuff, but they should, have tags and everything. But the problem is with these dogs that animals and turkeys and things that people just have for kind of just
service animal.
Well, it's an emotional support type of animal. There's different kinds. There's the support dog would be like if you say you couldn't walk or had problems like that, and then some of the dogs are just like anxiety dogs maybe. I'm not saying, there's different levels with everything, so it's pretty much if you're not licensed to have a service dog, the problem is the people that really need it, then it kind of infringes on their rights, because they may say no dogs allowed, and then what do those people do? Even those service dogs I think are allowed anyway, but
yeah, service dogs are allowed.
But there was a big concern with the service dog industry, so I said, well, with all that concern, I don't want to take my dog and infringe on their rights. People that absolutely have to have it, just to have my dog for fun, because it wasn't an anxiety issue for me. It was just that I thought that, what's this new thing? Everybody's allowed to bring your dogs everywhere, but that's not so. So, and the emotional support dogs are good for people that maybe, where that comes into an issue is they're really not supposed to be taking those dogs places, except it's for if you want to get in an airplane, they can't deny your service dog, or if you want to get an apartment, they can't deny. But taking it to the store and all that type of thing, that's real sketchy. So, and there could be problems even legally, I think, for people that do that,
so,
and for businesses. So I think that
we're not getting into that.
Yeah, no, we're not getting into it. We're not doing that. But that's just a little insight if you feel like looking into it further. I think, if I'm correct, but I don't know, I think it's actually a felon. If somebody wants to felony, I'm sorry, if somebody wants to press the issue about having your dog someplace. I don't know. You'd have to check into that. I don't know.
Most of the stores won't fight you on it because they don't want to lose customers.
Right. Especially in the country.
Like Dollar General doesn't want to fight anybody on it because they don't want to lose their customers.
We even had a guy just to insist that we pet his dog. Remember that? A huge dog.
And that's not he doesn't have a service dog either.
And we don't know the guy. I didn't know the guy from
I know the guy, and he doesn't need a service dog. He just brings this dog is like
huge dog.
It's almost like a Saint Bernard kind of a dog.
And to somebody, they have somebody else insist that you
and he
pet
pretty
him.
much chased us around the store for us to pet the dog.
Right. Literally.
And I told him I don't like dogs. Please get him away from me.
Finally, I patted him because I didn't know what else to do. But we're not, like I said, everybody, if somebody's brought their little chihuahua in there. And
I'm not a dog hater. I just can live without them.
Right. So anyway, that being said, it's just something to think about if you are thinking about taking your dog into stores and stuff. You just want to make sure you do your research, you know, because like I said, Tractor Supply, people bring their animals and dogs in there all the time. They have, you know, it's a pet kind of place. I think some of the pet stores do, so.
Petco and them, they all let you bring your animals.
Right, so I think it's just one of those. So I don't really know, just like I said, I think as long as it's a great factor, as long as people don't blow a fit about it, I don't think that anything's going to be done one way or the other. And I think
Until
that's
something legal comes along where somebody gets bit by a pretend service dog, then
there's going
they'll
to be
change the laws. But
and that's where the service dog people that really have to have them, that was their concern.
and they're the ones that are going to suffer.
That they're the ones that are going to suffer when something blows. But anyway, with that in mind, we're going to go see
But that was a
Grandma.
ramble.
Yeah, it was, but you know, I think that's educating people on that, because I didn't know all this until I got looking into it. And some people, they're just innocent and they don't know. But so anyway, we're gonna go see Grandma. You know, you're gonna go to Lowe's. You're gonna get, what are you getting at Lowe's?
I got to get a lot of stuff at Lowe's.
What are you getting at Lowe's?
I mainly have to have boxes for the auction and tape to seal the boxes, but I've also have to get self-threading screws for the tin roof, and I have to get a couple cutting blades for my grinder so I can cut the tin.
And shout out to a friend for bringing us a tin.
Shout out to my niece's husband, Marvin.
He brought us a bunch of tin. Clay was gonna pick some up, and Marvin's like, "Hey, I got some." And they're also the ones that we've got some.
We've got the eggs got to hatch out. That should be hatched out tomorrow, I would think.
And they gave us a supposed. So you're gonna have to say the church goose.
Sebastopol eggs.
Yeah, they gave us some. So it's just kind of fun, you know.
They gave us 4 and 2 of them were viable. I don't know if they're going to hatch or not.
So we might
Never count your chickens before they're hatched, and that's why they say that. Because they could die in the shell very easily.
And you guys that are in the south, hey, what do you think about the trees up here in the north? It snowed, I think, a few days ago. We're still waiting for spring. Well, we've got spring, but just daffodils and a few tulips here and there, maybe. But this is a tree situation. I love traveling this time of the year because
Everything's just starting to turn green.
well, what's fun is if you travel for the north to, say, Florida or something, or to mid-south or something, you're going to see all the trees turning from this to blooming. You know, it's just really cool.
Oh, they're starting to leaf out now.
Yeah, but I mean, as you drive south, you'll get to the couple states over, and they'll have, like, everything will be in bloom.
All the buds are falling off the trees and the leaves are coming out.
And the forsythia is out. And
Forsythia. That's Cynthia. Cynthia's a woman's name.
Forsythia.
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 Say it like you don't have front teeth.
Forsythia.
Forsythia.
I'll say that someplace public, and Clay and I always are correcting each other. Oh boy. So this is, if you have never been to upstate New York, like the northern part of New York, it's pretty
The
country.
state of New York.
Yeah, the state of New
Not
York.
the island of New York.
Right. This is all pretty much, these are the
The
country.
island is the city. The state is upstate. People get that confused. They hear New York and they think skyscrapers. Well, we're not skyscrapers. We're anything but. We're wilderness and everything else. The Adirondacks will swallow up most national parks.
When I was a kid, I lived at a Bible college. My parents were on staff, and there was 100 acres of woods around us. That really was a 100-acre wood.
Yeah, the Winnie the Pooh lives in the 100-acre woods.
Well, I'll tell you one person that didn't live up there, Bigfoot. Nobody ever saw Bigfoot up there, ever. And to
They see him up in Whitehall.
I know, but I'm just saying, there.
Whitehall, New York is where they said they've spotted Bigfoot.
But this is upstate New York. Now, this is like the closest cities to us are Syracuse and Rochester. And as you get closer to the different cities, you'll get into the suburbs where there's, you know, a little bit more like maybe they're not so country upper scale houses. I don't even know if I'd say upper scale, just more.
This is all rural.
No. But as you get closer to the city of Syracuse, you're gonna get all your subdivisions and all the like box houses. Everybody's house is pretty much the same. And then as you get to the country, you get more widespread.
All farmland.
Yeah, all the farmlands.
That's all this is farmland down through here.
And then if you get like into the city of Syracuse, it's not like a real or I think Rochester might be more crime than Syracuse. I don't know. I have to check on that. But Syracuse.
I think Rochester's number 3 in the U.S.
Of crime? Really?
I heard it on the radio one time.
Oh wow! I don't know.
3rd or 5th.
I don't know. It can't
It's
be.
up there.
Well, it can't be because you got cities like Chicago, New York City.
Well, I'm just saying what I heard on the news.
Yeah. But Rochester has there's a lot of things that happen there, but Syracuse does, but not like some of the other places. I just noticed that since I live between Syracuse and Rochester now, and I used to live like right.
Well, it's because when you're in the city, there's not a lot to do, and that's what gets them. In the country, there's so much to do that you don't have time to think of doing somebody ill.
And I used to go to.
I'm not saying everybody. There's a lot of them that do.
And I used to go to church in the city, and I used to work in the city of Syracuse. I'm talking about, and so there's just all kinds of. There's some really rough areas, but like, you know, torn down. But then there's like slums, and then there's also some, you know, okay areas. But I think the fanciest house. I used to be. I recruited for a long time. I did a lot of sales in my life, and I did recruiting, and so I've been in a lot of different homes and stuff. And I think the most beautiful home I've been in, and I have been in a lot of beautiful homes, was right in the city of Syracuse. And I think the most expensive home in this area is right in the middle of downtown Syracuse too, I believe. Which it was really surprising. I don't know about downtown, but which is surprising. Because when you see Syracuse, you're going to say, where could that be located? But it is, and it's just really surprising. I think that was like a little hidden type of area that
Give me the country any day of the week.
Oh, I like the country. I love the country.
I hate the city.
I think it all depends on how you're raised and your different frames. I think I like all walks and different types of life.
There's so much to see out here, and there's nothing to see in the city but buildings.
I mean, I think I would love to be like a world traveler, and maybe that's still in my future. Especially since our church is like a missionary type church. So, but I guess
I'm not a traveler.
I guess I can embrace all manner of lifestyles. Just a lot of times people will say things because they're ignorant. Like they'll say, "Oh, that's a stupid city slicker," or "Oh, that's a stupid country person." But if you it's like that movie Son-in-Law. If you get in different environments, you can see why people feel the way they do.
Somebody else's shoes.
Exactly. Then you start to understand more. This was the other gas station that I told my husband we were looking for gas, which he would have known anyway.
I know all the gas stations too.
My husband knows this area. So Baldwinsville, that's where I grew up. Well, I was born in Syracuse, but I grew up most of my life in Baldwinsville. We moved away and moved back, that type of thing, but a good chunk of my life was in this little town, which now is getting closer to being a city, I think.
When I was growing up, they just called it Beeville.
Well, when I was real little, it was, they call it Beeville still, but when I was real little, this was like Farmville, Hickville, and now it's turned into like almost a city.
Nah, this isn't even close.
No. It's turning into a city in the sense of
It's just a little town.
Right, but
not even close to being a city.
No, it's not close to being a city. That's true. But I guess it's got a lot more traffic.
Just a town on the river.
It's a town that, maybe I should say, it grew up. It started out like a Red Creek where we live, and then it grew up, and that kind of thing is what I'm saying. But no, it's not close to being a city. You're correct on that. It's a suburb.
Every time they put a little mall in, it's dead in 10 years.
Yeah, this little town can't take them all because they go out to the other places like Carousel and Clay. This is, yeah, you're right. This is truly a suburb. And the funny part about living here was I wasn't like a super big driver. And where I lived in this little town, Clay lived on the other end of the street that runs all the way through like tons of communities, because Clay lives 2 counties over than I did. This is like 2 counties over. So there's a salon. One time somebody had a fit because they had a woman in the front of that salon, and it was in the paper, and they thought that took that ungodly woman out of the suburbs because of the children. Somebody put up a poster or something, you know what I mean? And there was some kind of a sign, and they felt like it was inappropriate for this little town. So look at all the flowers that bloom in here too. See? The pink garbages.
Those are cherry tree blossoms.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I still like the forsythia.
I'm not going to even try to say that, guys. I'm not even going to try to say that.
Beautiful yellow blossoms. And I'm not a yellow person. I don't usually like the color yellow. I like orange myself. Orange and red. Green and orange are my favorite.
Green and orange?
Yeah.
What do you think, Branch? You going to go see Grandma?
No, he's not going to see Grandma. He's going to stay put.
Oh, he doesn't like that at all. He does not like that.
He's going to stay put when I go into Lowe's, because I don't think they'll let him in there.
When Clay and I started dating, I remember that we were walking behind this laundromat, and he was telling me all about the ducks, because there's a lake behind there. I don't know if you can see it. He was telling me all about the ducks and animals, and I felt like it was Adam, like Adam and Eve, because he was telling me all about the animals, and I loved that.
Deep pothole there.
And we met at this Burger King, which is now completely gone.
Yeah. That Burger King hasn't been there since I was younger. It was closed down a long time ago.
No, actually, that Burger King.
It started out as Carol's.
Right, but it closed.
Because that's where I got all my Carol's glasses. If any of you remember back years ago when they had the Looney Tune glasses and the with the Bugs Bunny in that, and they were the tall glasses, and then the smaller glasses were all like Underdog and some of those characters.
Actually,
Rocky and Bullwinkle, things like that.
Actually, honey, that Burger King, you might not know, because
Then they turned to Burger King after that.
That Burger King closed like probably a year before we met.
No.
Yeah, because I actually got a little job there at one point.
That closed back in probably 2000.
Right, that's what I meant.
We met in 2010, dear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 10 years later.
Well, it was later than that, but I'm not going to fight.
Well, all you gotta do is look it up.
Because I had my own business, and I talked to my sister, and she's like, yeah, it was kind of getting to be kind of a pain, because it was a direct marketing thing, and it was a little bit kind of a pain, because I was getting too big for the company, so to speak. And
you were getting too big for your britches, that's what it was.
Well, the company was giving me a lot of problems, and I thought, for the amount of stress it was giving me, I thought, I'll just go get a regular job. And so I worked there for like a couple days, and I thought, a week, and I'm like, are you serious? Because it wasn't a bad thing, it's just that at that time I was making too much money for something like that. So it was just, and I ended up just going to get a regular job. So, direct marketing is good, but if you get too big, sometimes there's a lot of pressure. And so I felt like, yeah, wasn't for me. Oh, I've done a lot of different things in my life, like most people have. Oh, there's somebody walking. You used to be a boss at a fertilizer plant at one point?
At one point.
Yeah. So.
I did many different jobs. But usually each one lasted about 10 or 20 years. Fertilizer plant, I think it was only there for 3 years, 4 years.
And most of my jobs lasted for, I'd say, 4 years. And then I worked for myself for probably 20 years when I was raising my kid. And then, but when you work for yourself, sometimes you also
Must be one of those
work
days
other
where
things too.
we're hitting every red light.
Oh, Charm Dog House, doggy daycare. That looks like something new.
We should let him go there.
Oh boy! And this is a Country Max out here. Oh, so they have a doggy daycare now or something? I didn't really catch it. But oh, here's a veterinarian out here. Animal Arc. So interesting stuff out here. Ah, these cars. Everybody's going to work.
Not me.
Pretty soon you'll be retired.
I won't have to worry about that anymore. 2 months.
He's done.
It's just the thought of going through that 2 months. But I guess I can do it. I remember back when I had 40 years to go. Nice thing about it is I won't have to drive in the winter snowstorms anymore. Worry about getting in an accident or somebody running me off the road, or driving 15 mile an hour behind the snow plows, or blinding snow. And I know, I'll move out of the state and get away from the snow. Well, I could deal with the snow compared to hurricanes, tornadoes, floods. Where I'm at, the ground is all gravel, and in any rain we get, the ground sucks it up, and your couple of days of sunshine, you're all dry again.
Where we live, it's almost the advantages of living south in some ways.
Except for the snow.
Except for the snow. I like it better than... I like where I live now probably better than any place I've lived. I love the city life and all that kind of stuff. It's fun, but it's really not for... It's expensive, and living out in the country when you're like at our age, like I'm 56.
I'm too old to be relocating again.
Well, it's the thing is it's just, the country is really relaxing. And when you get older, it's really nice.
Boy, every red light in town.
Oh yeah.
Never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Which is a Rex Harrison song.
I noticed you could speed a lot more out this way, and people don't catch you like they do. Like if you sped in our town, you'd get a ticket.
Yeah, they knock you right on the side of the road.
They got a live one that day.
Especially if you go through Port Byron. They call them the town clowns, and boy, they get you if you're 2 miles over the speed limit. They stop you, trying to get you for lights or something.
I actually found
They're
after
ticket happy, them people are.
I didn't live long in our area, and the cops knew who I was because it's a small area, and all of a sudden it's like, who's that person? You know what I mean? And I've never been in trouble or anything.
They tend to try to know each and every individual in the area.
I like it. I really love that. Because I felt...
Because if there's a problem and somebody says so-and-so did this, they know exactly where to go.
And I like it because I feel really protected. You know what I mean? It's nice. That part is really nice. And we have I believe we have a really nice police force where we're at.
They're pretty good guys.
So that's a nice thing.
And you pretty much get to know them by names too. I mean,
Yeah. Which is nice. And some of them have businesses, I think, too, in the area even.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just different ways of living. Sometimes if you move out of state, it's almost like you live in a different country. If you have like say if you move to LA, or if you were to move to like certain parts of Illinois and Chicago.
Now Clay has grown into
This town here has grown too.
a very larger.
Well, what I guess I'm saying is,
See, they brought all these. These are all new. These
Yep.
Chevy and
yep, they're building all. In fact, I think every time we go see my mom, they have a new business up. This is during a lot of car places.
all these older houses are being torn down and made into lots for different stores.
Which probably has a lot to say, and I don't have no idea who the mayor is, but he's not letting things turn into slums and things like that. He's keeping up on the property values. And do you see what I'm trying to say? He's not letting things just go to pot. And there's housing developments. Old goes out, new comes in. A lot of businesses, but the new housings are coming in and they're tearing down the old stuff. You know. So, Texas Roadhouse is coming in here. Now hiring. Look at all this stuff. There's the Lowe's. We're going to go to this later. There's a Verizon. And I found out something really weird yesterday.
Pulte right there in the corner, too.
I found out something weird about the phone company, and I guess I'll probably have to close on this. Clay and I were looking at our phone bill, and our phones are paid off, and because we did it on, like, well, what happened is when we originally signed up for our phone, they told us that we could have a tablet for free. Well, they were charging us for it, but I said, well, are we ready to upgrade or whatever? And basically what they told us was that if we prepaid, we would save $40 a month. But if we got a bill,
if they have to send out papers, it's an extra $40.
But our dilemma was if something happened to my husband, because he's been sick before, and then I didn't get to prepay that phone or something. We're still discussing what we're gonna do. Then we would be without a phone. But we're still looking into it. But you know, that's just something to know.
Well, they're not the only phone company, and
exactly.
There's several different choices, so we
Right.
can always look into those choices too.
Right. So, but we're just.
You're not saddled with one up to the other. You got Verizon, AT&T, and all these other ones that mobile.
Hey, there's Smoky Bones. Is that new?
I think so.
So there's tons of places to eat out here. One reason I'm glad I live in the country, although I did gain weight since I've lived in the country, but here it's a constant going out to eat. Constantly. Especially if you're in sales, which was my gig. So, like, you leave your
since
job
I had my hip surgery and that, I've lost some weight.
Yeah, Clay's been great about it.
I've gained a little bit back now that my appetite's got better, though. I think the pills they had me on just killed my appetite.
Well, I'm losing, but I'm not losing as fast as I want, but sometimes that's good because you can be all wrinkly if you lose too fast.
Yeah, you don't want to be wrinkly.
Right, well, I just want to be godly. Beauty is vain, it's fleeting. But I do want to look nice, because man looks at the outward, God at the heart. Okay, guys, with that...
Not all men look at the outward.
Well, mankind.
Give some people credit.
No, I know, but I'm just saying what the Bible says. So, there's one of the places I used to work. Okay, guys, with that... like, subscribe, hope keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you in the next video.
That's the Subway you want to go to later?
No, I don't like that Subway as well, the other Subway.
I knew that's why I said it.
It's not a bad Subway, but it's just I like the other one better. That Subway there is so funny. Those people are so nice in both of those places, and the Dunkin' Donuts. They used to give me free coffee. They used to be so nice to me, but I used to go there all the time. So, anyway, we will see you guys in the next video. Take care. God bless.
Toodaloo.